Okay, answering a few questions in my car. So, I appreciate you, not tuning out. Okay, I'm just as good looking in my car as I am sitting behind a desk. Okay, on this particular thing, if your district does have a behavior analyst, then absolutely you would be more within. In fact, you shouldn't even have to bring it up. The school system is the expert according to the law, and that includes when James Galini goes in and is the father attending the IEP meeting for his daughter. Even though I'm a special education attorney and I know this stuff backwards and forwards, I am still treated as a father. I am not treated as an expert. All right, my role on my child's IEP team is like this. I need to provide consent and I need to provide consensus. I can provide feedback. I can sit there and tell them what I would like to see as a parent. But at the end of the day, the education system and related service providers are considered the experts under this law, and that's why they hold the legal duty to provide the free and appropriate public education. All right? And in fact, they carry 100% of the duty. You don't carry any. The school system carries 100% of that legal duty. Now, at that point, what I'm saying is if your child has anxiety, and I do have clients that have non-epileptic seizures caused by anxiety and stress, it is going to be, and my daughter has seizures on occasion, and it's non-epileptic. It's attached to her autism for some reason. Nobody can explain it, but we know that we can manage it with various techniques. I'm not going to get into that. But it is one of those things to where, by scrutinizing, well, we need something over here. No. All right. If your child is engaging in refusals to go to school, refusals to participate in school, these are all behaviors. And special education is a service. It's not a location. And the courts have been real serious about that lately. Where a school sits there and wants to go, okay, I've got these walls and these rooms, and they're called classrooms, and there's people in them, and there's students, and there's desks. No. Special education is a service. And if we cannot get a child out of their home into this environment, you sit there and you go, well, we have homebound. Well, some kids need to start with homebound, or they need a combination or accommodations on their schedule so we can move them along that the continuum of alternative placements. The continuum of alternative placements. So the pinnacle or goal for every child is the general education setting with no pullout time and no supports. That's the starting point. And then you have this continuum of where that child can be served, all the way to residential facilities that are out of state. So that's where that continuum rests. So if your child is one that is resisting on going to school, then it would be a lazy response for a school to go, well, he's homebound. Or we're going to sit there and file truancy charges as though it's your fault. It's a complete lack of acknowledgement of the child's deficits, the disabilities, and how it's impacting the child with regards to their ability to access the generalized curriculum. So it is the school's responsibility to help remediate that, to help the child overcome these issues. And you have a full arsenal available to you as a school district, full flexibility. Because the federal law trumps state law trumps the board policy with regards to attendance and all this other stuff. So the IEP team has full flexibility to be able to work these things out in a reasonable manner. It's always a reasonableness standard. That's called logic. That's called reality. Okay, nobody's hamstringing you as a school district. All right? So many administrators hamstring themselves because they cannot think logically that there are no limitations to what they can do to serve children under this law. And they're protected by doing it. And in fact, they're doing the right thing because they're providing the child a free and appropriate public education in the process. They're just doing it in an out-of-the-box fashion because it's a service and it's not a location. So in your particular situation, that behavior analyst should have been involved a long time ago. And that if that involved modifying the schedule or the school day to where you're starting out at home and you're setting goals, the behavior analyst can do observations in these environments, including inside the home setting, because that's where our problem lies initially. And just putting a kid on homebound is lazy. All right, I understand the temporary nature of it for many, many kids, and it's a benefit, and I use it all the time. But where are we going from here? And we got to get aggressive, because you're right. What you don't want to do is you don't want to set in new behaviors that now we're going to have to sit there and do an FBA on to identify the functions of those behaviors in order to design goals, in order to move the child out of that, out of that new behavior that the institution created, whether accidentally or on purpose or by sheer ignorance. So it doesn't matter. We're serving the child. And if the child is acquiring new behaviors, meaning that I have an increased anxiety sitting in a classroom, and you're just allowing that to fester and create bigger issues, then that's on the school system. Because you have the professionals there to help with the issue. Use them. And that's exactly what a behavior analyst would be able to do. Come in and assist on the behavior side, the social emotional development side, which includes behavior of your child's educational performance deficits. And the deficits in this area are so great that they end up tipping over and impacting not only communication, but also academics and also the other aspects of the social emotional development. So we've got to attack this problem, because it's impacting your ability to receive a FAPE in all these other areas. And the nice thing about our current standard of what a FAPE is, the Andrew F. decision is so heavily weighted on that, because the school system did not recognize and attack the behavior for what it was, that's the reason the child was not making progress and tangible gains on the academic side and in the other areas of educational performance. And so therefore the school needed, what they should have done in Andrew F. is really, really focus on how to address the behaviors in order to meet their legal responsibility under these other areas as well. So yes, the behavior analyst should have been brought in. You shouldn't have even had to bring that up. Shouldn't have even been a question. But you're past that, so you need to bring that up and you need to push for it. And yes, having the FBA done in the environment where the behaviors are occurring, it might be at home. And we've got to sit there and be reasonable about moving your child along that continuum until we reach that goal. And it may take a school year to do. Anxiety and behaviors are weird things. And we've got to show more patience as a society, as an education system, in how we're managing these things, and stop making because so much of it is artificial, which exaggerates our responses. Once again, these are our rules, and we gotta sit there and we have so many instructional days. Not being flexible in your thinking as an institution or as an IEP team actually makes the therapy and the work that we're doing on the behavior and the social emotional side, it actually makes it harder. The more flexibility you give over here, it is so much easier for the parent and for the staff working with the child and for the child themselves to sit there and overcome these issues and acquire skills on self-management, self-regulation, self-monitoring, because now you're relieving so much of the tension and stress causing and feeding the issues in the first place. Let me know where you are in Texas, okay? Because, we may be able to help you out there, okay? If needed.